there's never an excuse. No matter how much trauma a man has, there is never an excuse to lay hands and hurt a woman, physically or emotionally.
Justin Baldoni recently opened up exclusively to what he called his dream team, the people who had helped him edit his films and bring them to completion, about the shocking experience of being sidelined at the premiere of his own movie, all allegedly at Blake Lively's insistence. He described being sent to the basement with his friends and family for over an hour, completely hidden from the red carpet, unable to be near Blake or the rest of the cast, turning what should have been one of the most joyful nights of his career into a bizarre ordeal. Despite the humiliation, he and his loved ones found a way to laugh at the absurdity, reflecting on why they entered the business in the first place: to create art that touches hearts, not to chase superficial recognition. Meanwhile, the legal battle is heating up. Justin may be keeping quiet publicly, but his attorney is no longer holding back, filing a lawsuit that has the internet buzzing, while Blake is reportedly striking back hard, even though this situation is casting her in a negative light. Adding to the chaos, it seems Blake never intended for the case to go to trial, and her selective sharing of text messages has only fueled the drama. The twists keep coming, the stakes are high, and the emotional rollercoaster for everyone involved, including fans, shows no sign of slowing down, proving once again that the world of Hollywood feuds is as unpredictable as it is intense. For the first time, the full conversations between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have surfaced, revealing context, tone, and intent that the public has never seen. These messages lay everything bare, giving fans the chance to judge for themselves whether Blake's carefully crafted public narrative holds up under scrutiny. Unlike any other case, every single text, document, and piece of evidence is being made publicly available so people can come to their own conclusions about claims of harassment, smear campaigns, or retaliation. With all the receipts now out, it's no surprise that Justin filed a 90-page lawsuit against the New York Times, alleging libel, false light, invasion of privacy, promissory fraud, and breach of implied-in-fact contract. The release of these conversations has cast Blake in a negative light, and the drama only deepens as Ryan Reynolds and his PR team tried to intervene, ironically drawing more attention to his involvement rather than helping. This saga, which began on New Year's Eve when Justin sued the New York Times over coverage of Blake's complaint, quickly escalated when Blake filed her own federal lawsuit, targeting Justin, Melissa, Nathan, Jennifer Alp, and Wayfair Studios, alleging severe emotional distress, mental anguish, and lost wages. This isn't a minor filing, it's a full-blown federal case in New York, marking a dramatic escalation in a story that had already included a so-called nuisance lawsuit, filed days earlier without any intention of going to trial. Blake's attorneys explained that her administrative complaints against Wayfair and others arose after reporting harassment and workplace concerns, claiming retaliation in violation of federal and California law. By choosing the federal route and not pursuing a traditional lawsuit, Blake avoided discovery, including answering questions under oath or producing communications, allowing her to sidestep scrutiny while attempting to rehabilitate her public image. With every twist and turn laid bare, this legal and personal drama has become a high-stakes spectacle, revealing just how intense and tangled Hollywood conflicts can be when careers, reputations, and personal grievances collide. Instead of pursuing a traditional lawsuit, Blake Lively filed a request for a right to sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department, a procedural step that doesn't require full discovery or court proceedings. This allowed her to maintain strategic control over the situation while keeping the public narrative in her favor. According to Justin Baldoni's team, this move was part of a carefully calculated media-savvy strategy, blending legal posturing, PR maneuvering, and public messaging to dominate headlines, increase pressure on Baldoni and others, and reshape her public image, all without the legal risks of formal litigation. The pleadings remain confidential unless leaked, and filing with the CRD avoids discovery, underscoring that pursuing a full lawsuit was likely never her goal. Instead, Baldoni's team contends she sought to weaponize the appearance of legitimacy conferred by a numbered legal document to generate sensational headlines and manipulate public perception. Her CRD complaint was reportedly embraced uncritically by the New York Times, which published an article nearly 2 hours before the response deadline, ignoring objections from Baldoni's team and producing a story filled with inaccuracies, and omissions. Baldoni's defense highlights that Blake selectively edited and miscontextualized messages between herself and him. For example, messages showing Justin expressing concern about being misrepresented and clarifying intentions were presented out of context, including exchanges with Miss Nathan and Miss Abel that were unrelated to the claims Lively made. A key instance involves an August 16th exchange, where Nathan allegedly shared a Daily Mail article titled "Is Blake Lively Set to Be Cancelled?" and Abel responded, "Wow, you really outdid yourself with this one," which Baldoni's team argues was entirely misinterpreted and used by Lively as supposed proof of a smear campaign. According to Baldoni, these messages were the sole evidence supporting her allegations, yet the Times published them as definitive proof. Despite their misrepresentation and lack of factual basis, to forming the core of the so-called smear campaign claim that Baldoni's team maintains is categorically false and misleading. Beyond the selective text exchanges, there is no evidence of any coordinated effort to damage Blake Lively's reputation. What was portrayed as a malicious plot was simply misrepresented. The intensity of this case has captured public attention, with every detail dissected for hours. But the real revelations come from Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Frerid, who has laid out evidence showing that the narrative of a Lively orchestrated smear campaign is based on misinterpretation, selective excerpts, and media misreporting. Freedman even announced that every text message and document from the case will be made publicly available, giving the audience the chance to see the full context for themselves. On shows like Megyn Kelly's, he presented jaw-dropping proof, including audio messages from Justin himself, revealing that on the day It Ends With Us premiered, he and his friends and family were allegedly confined to a basement for over an hour because Blake reportedly didn't want him anywhere near the movie or the red carpet. Justin described the surreal scene. He and his loved ones laughed at the absurdity, despite the humiliation, reflecting on why they entered the business in the first place to create art that moves people, not for superficial recognition. The drama intensified during filming, with rumors flying that tensions between Justin and the rest of the cast and crew were off the charts. Followers on social media speculated that Justin had been cancelled while he promoted the film solo, highlighting the awkward divide. The situation on set, according to reports, became so toxic that some cast members were literally kept in a basement to maintain peace.
And when I look in the mirror, that's just not how I see myself. But it was how Hollywood saw me. And over time, I noticed a parallel between the roles I...
Meanwhile, Blake's claims, including alleged sexual harassment, body shaming, and inappropriate behavior, were closely examined by Freedman, who presented evidence contradicting her assertions. For example, Blake claimed Justin barged into her trailer while she was pumping breast milk, but text messages show she had actually invited him to rehearse lines there. Similarly, allegations that Justin asked about her weight were contextualized by his need to adjust her training for a back injury, confirmed by crew members and his trainer, complicating matters. Blake reportedly never read It Ends With Us, the novel her film adaptation was based on, which fueled creative disagreements and misunderstandings on set. Freedman confirmed a meeting at Ryan Reynolds' New York home where Blake presented a 17-point list of demands to make herself more comfortable during filming, many of which Justin and his team did not agree with but ultimately accommodated, ensuring the production could proceed smoothly. Despite her complaints, the record shows that after January, filming reportedly ran without further incident. The overarching picture, according to Justin's legal team, is that Blake's selective presentation of texts and events was used to manipulate public perception, while the evidence and context tell a far different story, one of misunderstandings and a conflict blown out of proportion by media coverage and misrepresented messages. And honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg. According to Brian Freedman, Justin Baldoni's attorney, the explosive claims in Blake Lively's complaint were heavily exaggerated and taken out of context. During an interview with Megyn Kelly, Freedman addressed Blake's allegations of a two-part scheme. First, to conceal Justin's alleged harassment and misconduct involving his partner Heath in Wayfair Studios, and second, a supposed plot by Justin to drag Blake through the mud with a smear campaign, destroying her reputation, business, and emotionally devastating her family. Kelly carefully separated the claims, noting that hiding alleged misconduct might not even be illegal, and the real legal question centered on Blake's retaliation allegations. Freedman countered that Blake's claims were inflated, missing key context, and that evidence pointed to a very different story. In fact, there were no sexual harassment allegations raised by Blake during the project or its premiere. These claims only appeared months later, after her business was struggling and she faced negative press coverage. Crisis PR was reportedly brought in to manage leaks and negative stories, not to address harassment. These included rumors that Justin was disliked on set or problematic, as well as unrelated media scrutiny of Blake, including criticism for launching a hairline during the film's promotion and giving toned-up advice to fans to treat the movie like a light-hearted romp. According to Baldoni's team, Blake's reputation suffered after the project wrapped, and her legal team argues she is fabricating narratives to cover for professional struggles. Text messages show Justin repeatedly emphasizing, "I don't want to hurt her, I want to protect her. Let's give her what she wants. Let's help her," reflecting his attempts to manage the situation peacefully. The case grows even more complicated when considering Blake's alleged power plays on set. Freedman claims she tried to seize control of the film despite not directing, intervening in nearly every aspect of production, from the soundtrack and wardrobe to editing. She reportedly pressured the studio to release her cut, even though Justin's version had tested better with audiences. Further controversies arose regarding intimacy coordination, with Blake allegedly instructing and influencing on-set scenes in ways that created tension. The combination of selective messaging, creative disagreements, and public perception issues turned the situation into a perfect storm. one Friedman and Baldoni's team argue has been misrepresented as a smear campaign, harassment case, or power struggle. The reality, according to them, paints a far different picture of chaos, miscommunication, and media sensationalism than the narrative Blake presented to the public for the first time. The full conversations between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have surfaced, revealing context, tone, and intent that the public has never seen. These messages lay everything bare, giving fans the chance to judge for themselves whether Blake's carefully crafted public narrative holds up under scrutiny. Unlike any other case, every text message and document is being made publicly available so the audience can see the full story and decide if harassment, a smear campaign, or retaliation actually occurred. With all the receipts now out, it's no surprise that Justin filed a 90-page lawsuit against the New York Times, alleging libel, false light, invasion of privacy, promissory fraud, and breach of implied-in-fact contract. The release of these conversations has cast Blake in a negative light, and the drama only deepens as Ryan Reynolds and his PR team try to intervene, ironically drawing more attention to his involvement rather than helping. This saga, which began on New Year's Eve when Justin sued the New York Times over coverage of Blake's complaint, quickly escalated when Blake filed her own federal lawsuit targeting Justin, Melissa Nathan, Jennifer Al, and Wayfair Studios, alleging severe emotional distress, mental anguish, and lost wages. This isn't a minor filing, it's a full-blown federal case in New York. But according to Baldoni's team, pursuing formal litigation was never her ultimate goal. Instead, Blake filed a request for a right to sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department, a procedural move that avoided discovery and allowed her to maintain control while shaping the public narrative in her favor. Baldoni's attorneys argue that this was a calculated media strategy, blending legal posturing, PR tactics, and public messaging to generate headlines, pressure Justin and the other parties, and reshape her public image, all without the scrutiny of a full trial. Brian Friedman, Justin's attorney, has revealed that Blake selectively edited and misrepresented texts to make it appear as though a coordinated smear campaign was underway. Key examples, such as an August 16th exchange where Nathan allegedly shared a Daily Mail article and Abel replied, "Wow, you really outdid yourself with this one," were entirely taken out of context. The messages, Friedman insists, were unrelated to any plot against Blake and were misrepresented by both her and the media. In interviews, Friedman emphasized that there were no sexual harassment claims raised during filming or at the premiere. These allegations only emerged months later, after Blake faced negative press and struggled professionally. Crisis PR was reportedly brought in to manage leaks and criticism, not to cover harassment claims, and text messages showed Justin repeatedly attempting to de-escalate the situation, saying, "I don't want to hurt her. I want to protect her. Let's give her what she wants. Let's help her." The tension on set reportedly reached absurd levels. On the day It Ends With Us premiered, Justin claims he and his friends and family were confined to a basement for over an hour because Blake didn't want him anywhere near the movie or the red carpet. Despite the humiliation, he and his loved ones laughed at the absurdity, reflecting on why they entered the business to create art that touches hearts, not for superficial recognition. The chaos continued during filming, with Blake allegedly taking control over nearly every aspect of production, from the soundtrack and wardrobe to editing, pressuring the studio to release her cut of the film despite Justin's version testing better with audiences. Friedman also addressed allegations regarding intimacy coordination, body shaming, and inappropriate behavior, providing evidence that contradicted Blake's claims, to showing that she had invited Justin to her trailer and that her accusations about his comments regarding her weight were taken out of context. And then there's the media fallout. Blake's PR and legal maneuvers, along with Ryan Reynolds' high-profile involvement, generated massive public scrutiny, with fans criticizing both for tone-deaf decisions, such as promoting a domestic violence-themed film as a rom-com or editing scenes without consulting the director or screenwriter. Meanwhile, the internet has been relentless, with some claiming Blake damages her own reputation more than anyone else could. Despite the chaos, Justin remains focused on his mission, emphasizing that he works for the love of storytelling and to make a genuine impact through his films, undeterred by legal battles, leaked messages, or social media storms. This Hollywood saga is messy, multi-layered, and ongoing, between alleged smear campaigns, selective messaging, PR crises, and behind-the-scenes chaos. It's a story that has captivated fans and industry insiders alike. The question now is simple: are you Team Blake, Team Justin, or just Team Truth? The debate rages on, and one thing is clear: there's plenty more drama yet to unfold.